we've talked about mouthfeel, but people have heard these terms called vibrance, saturation, things like that. What does that mean? What's the difference between saturation, vibrance, and how it relates to mouthfeel? Or does it?
Well, when you open Photoshop, if you're going to design like a logo, are we talking about that?
No.
What kind of mood are you trying to set?
It's really strange about these terms because they do often start in different forms with different applications. I mean, saturation in photography is much different than, I don't know, maybe it's not.
I don't think they are that different. That's my thing.
What is vibrance when it comes to DIY mixing?
I think you have to explain saturation in order to explain vibrance.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
So both of these terms have to do with the intensity of a flavor.
Right.
So if you're thinking of it on a scale, then you have two different scales. You have saturation and you have vibrance.
Okay.
So what do you guys think saturation is?
For me, it's the amount of flavor that you get from a flavoring or a liquid. For me, it applies to both.
True.
If something tastes like, well, this tastes weak, it tastes watered down. To me, that's not being saturated. It needs to be saturated.
Yeah.
It often is just a matter of, using the correct percentage of flavorings, correct?
Or the correct flavoring.
Yeah, because some flavorings are weaker than others.
I do think that is most of the term. It's when you talk about intensity, that is like the saturation that's most of the scale.
Yeah.
Where vibrance comes in, I think it's a little bit different. It's almost like a frequency. It's all these like peaks and valleys of flavor that you're getting. Is it really like sharp? Is it bright? Oh, is this kicking a little bit more of a punch than this might be a little bit more muted?
Yeah, it's the difference between something that is easy to vape or that you get the flavor very constant while you're vaping it, or something that is going to punch you in the face as soon as you hit the mode.
Right.
Yeah, the understanding that I have when it comes to vibrancy, most of the time when I describe something as being vibrant, it's almost always fruity.
Yeah.
I've never had a vibrant cookie.
Milk. Oh man, that milk is so vibrant.
well, let me tell you about Wonder Flavors milk.
Yeah, there's an exception.
No, but I mean, there's tricks to making something vibrant. One of the best tricks in the world is sweetener.
Yeah.
Sweetener can cause fruits to be much more vibrant.
Yeah.
You could have the saturation of the strawberry or the banana. It could really be, nice and full flavored banana or strawberry, but maybe it's lacking something, and that's where the vibrance comes in.
I want to talk about one of the oldest tricks in the books that kind of explains both of these in different ways.
Okay.
Let's talk about fucking blueberries. You can have the saturation of the blueberry be very high, but does it have the vibrance? One of the oldest tricks in the book is adding lemon to a blueberry. That works in baking, cooking. It works with this too.
That's the difference. Saturation and vibrance.
When you have like you can think of like other tricks with that too. When you talk about like adding like it's gone. Totally gone. I had a fucking flavor in mind too that was gonna talk about it, and it was fucking gone.
But you can use vibrance and saturation when you develop a recipe, when you need to have one thing to show or to cut through another profile.
Right. If you're working with a top note and a base layer.
When you're doing cookies and you want to put nuts with that cookie, you need the nut that is very similar layer than the cookie to go through, so you can get the nut and the cookie. You need a nut that is more vibrant.
Right.
Something like the DX hazelnut or something like that. You're not going to use FA almond.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Is that a good example?
Yeah, I was gonna go with because we were talking about vibrance. I was just thinking like like a peaches and cream. It relays more to like a fruit. So like if you have a peaches and cream recipe, you want that peach to sit on top. You want it to cut through all that cream.
Yeah.
So you want to have it be punchy. You want it to have more vibrance. It might be the right level of saturation, but it's not giving you that kick you need. That shit's gotta tickle your pecker a little bit.
And many times, it really does depend on, say, what kind of sweetener that's using. Just like the peaches and cream example that you give, we often talk about using flavor sweetness with creams. And in that situation, some people might think, okay, I want to use flavora sweetness with this cream because because it's mostly cream and I want to sweeten it with something. That may not be what you want to use. You may want to use a super sweet to make that peach more punchy, to cut through those creams.
Yes. And opposite to the blueberry example, you can have something that is very saturated and not vibrant. For example, a cream. You can make a cream super saturated, but not vibrant at all.
Yeah. And that's what you would want most of the time, right?
But I think also keeping in mind saturation, that's where you might need to build certain flavors too. To make a really good peach, you might need 2 or 3 of them because they don't have full saturation. You have to build that layer up. You have to build that intensity across multiple flavors. And then you can start thinking about the accents a little bit more and the vibrancy of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Saturation, vibrance.